Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Rangers Review full-time reaction video after a hard-fought and slightly nervy, it's fair to say, 1-0 win over Hearts at Tynecastle, thanks to a first-half goal from Abdallah Sima, his 12th of the season. Brilliant through ball by James Tavernier, and the Senegalese finished cool as you like. Rangers guilty of missing a glut of chances, namely Danilo with a couple of absolute sitters. Ridvan blazed one over the crossbar. Kemar Roof, his decision-making, ball into Sima that was offside. Maybe he should have taken that on himself. He came on as a second-half sub. Rangers failing to kill off the game, which made for a pretty nervy ending, it's fair to say, but they managed to see it out and they progress back to Ibrox with three very vital 3 points, you've got to say. Joshua is at Tynecastle for us. Joshua, they made hard work of that, but good victory for Rangers. Philippe Clement keeps his unbeaten run going. Notoriously difficult place, Tynecastle. Rangers do have a decent record there. Take the 3 points and up the road.
Yeah, I think you sum it up well. Clement's good start at Rangers continues. A really good goal by Abdallah Sima. Should have been more comfortable. Rangers didn't really concede much at the other end, Derek. I know Butland was forced into a couple of big saves, aside from when Hearts got in behind for the chance that James Tavernier actually cleared off the line. The other save that Butland makes is from distance. I think it was a pretty good performance, all things considered, and should have been more comfortable. Danilo has two really good opportunities. We obviously spoke about that before the game. I thought he had a decent game all round. Otherwise, his movement was good at the top end of the pitch, but wasn't able to put the ball in the back of the net for that moment. But crucially for Rangers, they do have a forward on form called Abdallah Sima. That was a brilliant run, Derek. Really good run. Typified what he's about. Philippe Clement said in his press conference after the weekend he'd spoken to him about being more egotistical, being more selfish, not trying to play the final pass, but trying to have the final shot. I think sometimes a bit of the byproduct of how Rangers are playing at the moment is it can look a bit direct, and that's an issue I think they'll have to solve, because when teams press them, they can go long too often, but they managed to break the press for that moment. Did it really well. I thought McCausland and Tavernier obviously makes the action for the goal, but McCausland takes the ball with his back to goal, and I thought he had a really good game overall, Derek. That's only his third start for Rangers, coming away to a third league start, I think, coming away to a difficult away venue. Like tonight, stayed on for the whole game, took the ball in difficult situations. I thought he was really good. I thought Cifuentes did okay from the bench. A couple of important blocks late on.
Yeah.
Not nothing special on the ball, but he did okay on the bench from the bench, I thought. And the important thing is you get 3 points, because this is a Hearts team that had obviously picked up 4 away wins in a row. They were in a decent place, and Rangers, although it was a little bit nervy at the end, didn't concede too much in their own box and managed to travel back west with all 3 points.
Yeah. You mentioned there Danilo. Rangers, we need more. £6 million was spent on this guy. Rangers need him to put away chances, gilt-edged chances like we witnessed in the first half. Better chance in the second half. He really should have busted it from close range away in a Ranger. Lovely username, but he says Danilo needs to stop taking a touch and shoot. Totally agree. I've lost count the amount of sitter he's missed this season now. King Rick with the point. Our shooting is woeful. Just highlighted tonight, Joshua. The match should have been put to bed before the final whistle. It just highlights Rangers need to improve their striking options in January. I think that's clear for all to see.
Yeah, I mean, here's my take on the Danilo thing, Derek. I've said before the game, same after, I think he'll be a really good player for Rangers. He's still very early in his career. A season is long. I think overall his performances have been good. Yes, he needs to score more. Yes, he's had a couple of great opportunities. It'd be interesting to look at what his numbers were after tonight in terms of the actual chance quality. So I'm in total agreement with you in the comments that you need a player who's going to put those goals away. But I also think that if you look at the 6, 7, 8, 9 games he started so far for Rangers, it's been a net positive. Because yes, you should have had more for the $6 million by this point. He's obviously spent a couple of months, or maybe not a couple of months, a month and a half out injured as well. And it's only now that he started to play as a number 9 when the new managers come in. So I agree with you, Derek. I think he needs to be more clinical, and you hope that will come. I think a season's long. There's other bits to his game that look good for me. And I think he will be a big player for Rangers. So that's my take. You can tell me I'm wrong in a few months. the old saying as well is that it's better for strikers getting into those positions and missing opportunities. You'd much rather they score them right enough. And I think there will be more pressure on him over the next number of weeks to get that right. It's probably the first kind of little wobble of his Rangers career, but I still think he's contributing outside of that, which is important. But totally agree with you. Needs to score those 2 chances, at least one of them, because if you score that chance, especially before halftime, it becomes a different game. It becomes a lot more comfortable for everyone who's watching here, the small number of Rangers fans who are in the corner tonight, and everyone who's obviously watching at home as well. Yeah,
I was thinking to myself, watching those chances, Jermaine Defoe, who was formerly on the books, would have burst in it with those 2. And I wonder what he's up to now. He was the coach at Ibrox for a time, and I think he could help Danilo with his striking. So get on the phone to Jermaine and get him up, bring him home, and improve Danilo's shot accuracy, please. Let's talk about other players. We'll talk in detail about the game tomorrow, Josh, on the morning briefing. Another downside to tonight, you mentioned Jose Cifuentes, who I thought grew into the game, made vital blocks, did well. However, he was an enforced sub. Took him an age to come on right enough for Tom Lawrence.
And you know, I'm right behind Clement here, which was interesting to watch him. I'm kind of the first row of the press box, and as you know, kind of I'm just getting the steward suite, so hopefully they let me stay in my seat here. But Clement was kind of going a bit mental at him, and then you actually had him by the touchline, and Cifuentes had like a chain on. It was actually Clement who was helping him get it off. But I think he grew into the game. It's a blow. We'll go, and I'm about to go to the press conference. We'll go and see if Clement can ascertain the significance of that injury. That's why I said in my predicted lineups I thought Cifuentes would start, because I just didn't think Lawrence would play 2 games in a week. He's obviously had his well documented injury issues since he came into the club, but Cifuentes did a job tonight, made a couple of big blocks towards the end of the game, didn't lose it as much in what was quite a quick game. I thought Campbell had a good game, carried his team up the pitch pretty consistently. Again, took it in busy areas of the pitch, and Sima obviously brilliant finish, and maybe should have had another one as well. There was a number of moments towards the end of the game where you thought, will Rangers kill it? A number of good performers around the pitch. No absolute standout probably aside from Danilo Sima, but I agree with you. Once Cifuentes did get onto the pitch, I thought he did a pretty good job, all things considered.
Yeah, and before we wrap up and Joshua heads down to the press room, Leon Balogun I thought was good tonight. Joshua, I'm liking that partnership, him and Goldson. And Day in the Life says Lundstrom was man of the match for me. I thought we worked hard tonight. It was good again tonight, wasn't it? He was full of endeavour and no real misplaced passes in there. Lots of energy. He's a player that I won't say revitalised, but he's really benefiting from the new manager.
I think these games always suit him more. When the game's at a quicker tempo, it allows him to show his best attributes. When a game's slow and it's about him turning on the ball and trying to set a tempo, I don't think that suits him as well. And I think Rangers lack a specialist in that specific position. Agree with you on Balogun. The question is, he can't play 2 games a week consistently. We saw he couldn't 2 years ago. He's not going to be able to now. Rangers are going to need to rotate in that position as they go forward. They've obviously got a home game, which they see is very winnable at the weekends before a huge week where they need to qualify for the Europa League last 32 or last 16, and then a cup final as well. Ridvan, I thought, did okay. A few good moments on the ball. He was targeted, so you're kind of paying a bit more attention to him. Otherwise, I thought overall Derek probably showed in a fast game some of the reasons why, some of the attributes which are redeeming about him, and then also some of the reasons why he's not been able to be the undisputed left back. Even the fact that Dujon Sterling comes on late on into that left back position to add a little bit more kind of size and stature to that position. So I agree with you on the state of the defence and Lundstrom. I just think it's a game that suits him when it's more open, when it's quicker, and it's so important without many central midfielders that he stays fit over this period, which you'd have to say with his track records. Unfortunately, unlike Tom Lawrence, and you're gutted for him seeing him come off the pitch, but I guess interesting to see what the manager's conversation about that injury is, because he doesn't seem like someone who would force players to play if they didn't feel like they were ready for it. He's been very careful about managing minutes so far, so looked like an off-ball incident for me, although I didn't catch it in real time.
Yeah, we'll find out the latest shortly, folks, and we hear from Philip Clement. Ridvan, I thought he was good. Harshly booked, I've got to say, in that second half. Maybe that was one of the reasons why Dujon Sterling came on, who I thought did well as well, full of running and very positive when he came on, so that was a good sign. Right, folks, I think we'll wrap up there. Josh is going to speed away to the press conference to speak to the Rangers manager. We'll be back tomorrow morning to dissect the game in more detail. Thanks to everyone for joining us on the show tonight. Rangers winning by 1-0 in the capital against Hearts. A hard-fought win thanks to an Abdallah Sima first half strike. Right, we'll speak to you tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.